So on Thursday afternoon, I was about to go to work. I open up the door and I see a huge box on my porch. And I was confused at first because I had one thing coming in the mail that was supposed to come like the next day, but it was a very small American Girl outfit that cost $3 to ship. So I was like, no, that's not it. And then I recognized the handwriting on the box. We got a very lovely gift box. If you've watched our Wondrous Welly Wishers, Mountains of Monsters, Broadway Bell box, those videos, these are all from, and the Fantastic February, are all from the same person. And she sent this really cute little card, which actually my dad's best friend Jimmy, years ago when my dad was still alive, and he used to set up at a flea market, he found a bunch of old Barbie cards, and this was one of them. And I actually used it on my displays. I would like put them with putty behind my like 60s Barbies on display. Because yes, I did used to display Barbies. And I ended up using it for a backdrop, all the little cards.
So it was like really cool seeing like the same card.
And yeah, and she wrote on it, which is really adorable. And then there's these cute little vintage stickers, which will definitely come in handy. Also, we're given these cool doll books. I haven't looked through them much yet, but there's this one called I Had That Doll, and this one called Doll Collecting with Tina. She gave me other books in the Mountains of Monsters lot too, which I really enjoyed flipping through. I like reading about dolls, even if like I don't collect them. So these are going to be fun to look through, and they have like the color.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
The color illustrations, which is nice. I actually took one of the pocket-sized ones she gave us like 2 years ago. I had it in my Jeep while I was waiting for Colleen. When I pick her up from work, I'd be like flipping through it.
And then I'd flip through it if like she wasn't done her chores and I was waiting.
These are a little bit too big for that. I wouldn't want them to get banged up, but they're definitely good reading material, and I love collecting doll books. And this is awesome.
I'm really excited about this.
The Barbie movie. I have been asked so many times if I have seen this movie. I have not. And that's probably why she sent it, because so many people have told me you're gonna love it. Not just doll collectors too, like Colleen's friend Nancy said we'd like it.
Oh yeah, that's right, Nancy saw it.
Yeah, even my therapist was like, oh, I really want you to watch this movie because I think that you'd like it, because it's like not what you would expect. So this is awesome, because we don't watch like things in theaters. And she sent there's a few little like things in this bag. There's like a taffy dog that goes to a Strollin' Pop Barbie I have, a microphone that goes to a pop star Barbie she sent me before, a chicken that goes to one of the Barbies that was in this lot, and then a glitter girl shoe. So there was a little bag of accessories, and then there was a bunch of furniture.
I love this. This is like my favorite piece.
This was a bathroom set that was packaged 2 different ways. It's like the 2008 Dream bathroom, or later repackaged as the Glam bathroom, and it was sold with a doll, and the doll's head mold changed between the 2 releases.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that 08-09 era, they were like changing between the 2005
it's just so
98
pretty.
head molds.
I'm gonna have so much fun playing Barbie bathroom later.
The shower that goes to our Barbie My House that we bought at Salvation Army years ago, and I thought it looked like it went to it, but I was like, there's already a bathroom panel in there, and I can't remember if there was a shower on that part I have, but it clips into that, which is really awesome.
This goes to our TV chef, Barbie.
Yeah, I can be.
We had her for a long time.
I know, it's funny because I got like parts of the counter, but I never had enough furniture to actually like use for anything.
Oh, that's right. We'll have to remember to dig up the counter. This is exciting. This goes to the Happy Family Dr. Barbie.
Yep, baby Dr. Barbie. Those are molded.
And it's so cute.
They're little like
I like how you see me trying to open it.
Incubators. That goes to the 2011 2-story beach house or something like that. We got a couch in the Mountains of Monsters lot from the same person a couple years ago, and it's cool because I knew it went to a house because on newer Barbie houses from like the past 15 years, they'll have like these pieces of cardboard that are actually like permanently pegged into place, and I could tell that this went on like the outside of the house, and you can see how it like flips down, so I knew that it's not actually branded as Mattel, but it's Barbie like logo, like the silhouette is embossed on everything.
And then these go together.
Yep, the Glam bathroom.
And we actually already have one of these toilets. And the reason I remember it vividly is because I couldn't figure out which of
Yeah.
our furniture things it had ended up in when, like, I couldn't find it when we were retaking photos. It was driving me crazy.
And then we got this very interesting desk that goes to I Can Be Teacher Barbie, a Target exclusive set. It looks older than it is.
Yeah, my first thought was 90s, and
It
it's
says
not.
2007 on it, and it's actually like really solid, and there's drawers missing, but there's supposed to be like a computer that clips here, and you can make Barbie like surf the web on it.
This would be so good for our Kid Kelsey computer to sit on.
And so then there were a lot of, she said in her note that a lot of them she got like at a thrift store, and there were a lot of different action figures. When did you fall over, Jade? There were a lot of different action figures and stuff, so she said to keep what we wanted and do what we want with the rest.
So I put a bunch of action figures and one of those like old like Lucky dolls that's, you know, like very off-brand in a bag to bring to work, because there's actually some kids in my classroom that would love to play with it, so they're gonna get loved.
Yeah.
Probably beat up, but loved.
You know, it's a circle of life. Colleen brought home a bum Elsa doll who was broken that they threw out. So
I like pulled Elsa out
I
of
could
his pack.
rescue her, and then we send in, like, when we get lots at the flea market and stuff, if there's little toys and things.
Yeah, well, because I work at an elementary school now, so between my classroom and the after-school program I work at, there's usually a use for this stuff, so I end up just bringing it into work.
Yeah, and sometimes when you donate, like, they just throw it away, so.
Or it gets marked way up and it sits in the thrift store for months and months and months.
There was, like, this Joker, because I have some Batman stuff I had growing up. He is, I'm not sure how old, he's not dated, I didn't do research on him, but yeah, I have a little Joker from like the 90s that I had as a kid, but he is bigger and kind of more in the size range of my large penguin. Colleen really wanted to keep this doll.
So this is a Hot Looks doll. What's her name?
Elkie.
Okay, that is a weird name and she does not look like that name, but I actually was just looking at these.
They have weird names like Mimi and...
Yeah, they're strange. I was just looking a few months back, over my February break, so like a month ago. I was looking to identify some clothes in our Mattel doll fashion book. And our Mattel fashion doll book. And I remember looking at these and being like, oh, those are weird. I admit I had a soft spot for her. She kind of reminds me of a cross between like Magic Attic and my Twist and Style Tiffany. So I was like, yeah, we'll keep her. She's kind of neat.
And then the other big lady, I knew who this was as soon as I saw her.
And this is the one that Shelly was like, ooh.
This is Movin' Groovin' Chrissy. So she's made by Ideal Toys, and she has a growing hair feature. So the original ones from earlier, 'cause she came out in 1971. The ones that came out in 69 that came in a different outfit and were just marketed as Chrissy, their hair can like extend to their legs, and she has like some kind of added waist articulation that the older ones don't have. So this is her original outfit, which is awesome, and her hair is actually in really
It's
nice
actually,
condition.
yeah, I was actually really shocked.
She's like 50 years old.
Yeah, I know. She's actually
Her
really
eyes
cool.
still open and close.
Yeah, she's really cute, actually. I can see why you like her.
I've seen her at the flea market before, and I would always have that moment of contemplation because I knew what it was.
Like, do I need
But
this?
because she's so big, it was kind of the sort of thing I talked myself out of. There were a bunch of like G.I. Joe, Army type guys. Now all of the ones that had like clothes that were molded or painted on, Colleen's taking to work, I did look at make sure their clothes were all like, didn't have anything to do with the dolls we
The
got.
kids are gonna love them. I really think they're gonna love them.
But I was excited to see these because when our dad was alive, he always talked about his childhood G.I. Joes, which he grew up with the original G.I. Joes. But he didn't have them anymore because he gave them all to my mom's brother when Uncle Leo was younger, and then Uncle Leo traded them all in for Star Wars stuff, like the original Star Wars stuff, and my dad was always upset about that, but you know, I mean, if you like Star Wars, I guess you can't blame him. So Dad,
I mean, it's all the same to me. Army, outer space, and whatever.
Dad, at some point, like in the early 2000s, when we used to go to like this really big indoor flea market, Dad would sometimes find Army guys there, and he had like a bunch of G.I. Joes. They were all from, I would say, like the 90s and early 2000s. None of them were older than that. And Colleen and I used to like playing with them with our Barbies, and we'd play pranks on Dad where we'd like take the guys and dress them in Ken clothes and put them back. He had like a tank and he had like a Jeep. And I remember we would like put Barbies in there. It was like a game we would play. But back in like 2011 when he needed money and he sold a bunch of stuff at a yard sale, he got rid of all of his G.I. Joes. And that was kind of the one thing that I really miss. That was his that he collected. We still have some of his toy
G.I. Joe
trucks.
is technically a doll, so we would have been so happy to have kept those.
And I remember what a lot of them looked like. Specifically, he had 3 that were boxed. They were early 90s dolls. He had 2 identical ones called Snake Eyes. And wouldn't you know that this guy right here, he is, his name is Duke. He is the second version of Duke. The original one had a different head mold. And he also had a slightly different like arm pose. He can grip things better, this newer guy. So the original one was a Target exclusive when Hasbro was testing the waters, and that was also when they like implemented the flocking. So he is actually
So
from the same
cute.
line as Snake Eyes, and I always remember that doll's name for some reason.
Yeah, well, because he had it in the box. You
Yeah.
could see it. It was so cool.
And there was another one he had too. I just can't remember that doll's name. I was so excited to learn that he was from the same way. This isn't his outfit. His clothes weren't in this lot. But
And even if he was not from Snake Eyes' set, I would love him anyway because he looks like Major Chip Hazard.
he does. We always loved small soldiers growing up, and he's really nice quality. He has less articulation than the other guys. He only articulates as a regular doll. He doesn't have any. He's like upper arms can turn, but he can't.
And he has bend and snap legs
He
like a
doesn't
Barbie.
have like all of this fancy stuff here. So this guy, he is an Ultra Corpse doll by Leonard Toys. I was able to actually find like specific info on him. So these are his pants. He is a Swamp Scout, and his name is Large Sarge.
And he reminds me of Dad's G.I. Joes in the face.
Yeah.
Like with that moldy beard, and I just love him.
He's really nice quality too.
We're gonna have a lot of fun with
These other guys are made by like cheaper brands, so it's harder for me to know how they were packaged, especially when we get to the Power Team dolls that I'm going to show you.
Because they were a lot like Kid Core.
Yeah,
from what?
Walmart even like was distributing them themselves. Like they would be still branded as the Power Team, but they would have like the distributed by Walmart like backing, like you'd see with Kid Core and Kid Connection stuff. Because like Kid Connection brand, it's like other manufacturers that Walmart like puts in special packaging. So you'll see like MGA products, or you know, it's like that. So this guy is different though. He is GX Mega Heroes or Mega Forces doll. He matched a firefighter, but I think that they reuse the same dolls in different outfits. They're dolls. These are outfits. And I like him because he reminds me of my Dimitri from Anastasia. He's got like the same kind of parting, and he doesn't look like, he looks almost like doe-eyed, like kind of scared. Like
Yeah.
And then these other 3 guys, these are all Power Team. They're super heavy. They're the heaviest, and they have a lot of articulation. Now these were, I think around 2001, because I read a blog. These were popular at places like Big Lots. These dolls don't have box dates. There's tons of like repackaging. I found pictures of the guy with the shorter buzz cut and the more narrow nose. I found pictures of a doll that matched him, but I don't know for sure if he's actually a World Peacekeeper or whatever, especially because they use that same branding. Some had like more detailed names, and others were just like thrown in a package that said like Power Team. But they're really heavy, and I really like the firefighter guy because he has like a mustache, and as soon as I saw him, I just like, he made my imagination turn on. And he doesn't look like, they don't look too angry. These guys all look a little bit more just sort of neutral faced. Because Ken is
whereas Major Chip Hazard is like very angry looking. I know his real name is Duke, but to me he's Major Chip Hazard.
And along with that, there was a bunch of Army-themed Barbies, and I'm guessing they all were donated probably by the same person if she got them at the same thrift store. I think that they don't look really played with. I don't know if maybe like it was a boy who played with these or someone who had a relative in the military, and that's why they had these Barbies.
So this doll is actually the same as it's Air Force Barbie from the Stars and Stripes series. She's the same as one my Uncle Ray got me for Christmas.
Hannah.
Yes, and
Christmas 2018.
the minute I saw her, I'm like, oh, it's Hannah. But see, Hannah, so she's missing her brown jacket.
Yes, her aviator jacket.
And Hannah still has her aviator jacket. So I'm like, no, it's not Hannah. She's not wearing a brown jacket.
And Hannah has her hat still.
Yes, but it is Hannah. So it's Hannah, but not Hannah. She's Hannah's identical twin. But she's very, very cute. Yeah, I think these dolls are really actually very cool.
And then we have Navy Barbie.
And I actually think our favorite sellers at the flea market, who sadly don't set up anymore, I think they had this exact same doll a couple years ago, but they wanted a little more for her than, like, she wasn't a bad price, but for, like, what she was, she didn't interest me that much.
Yeah, and this doll actually, it's cool because a lot of times the Barbies from these like military waves would come with like a spare piece of clothing. So like this is obviously like her formal military wear, but then they sold her with a pair of white pants.
Oh, I didn't know
so
that.
that way she could change into for like, you know, more of her fighting action.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then the really cool ones, Army, Barbie and Ken. And Ken actually has a special head mold that was only used on this doll. It kind of looks like Chandler, only happier and with like tendrils of hair.
Why is he so happy if he's
I
going
don't
to
know,
war?
he was really happy. And it's actually kind of disturbing how like they market war
Maybe,
as being like this fun, exciting pastime.
I know, because he looks so happy. But maybe he just got out on like 3-day leave and he's like, yo, Barbie, let's go to the bar. And then, I don't know.
All right.
Having a little fun here. We could make them go out to the bar. We had the bar.
We had
Jeff's happy hour.
Yep.
It's actually Gloria's happy hour, but we call it Jeff's
There
happy
was
hour.
a box doll too. This is One Direction, Harry Styles. I have Liam. I got Liam last year. Not from this wave necessarily. I don't know, because he doesn't have like a coat or anything.
They're very repackaged.
Creepy looking, and yet I really like random celebrity dolls. I think that they're interesting, especially the guys.
I saw the 1D box and I'm like, oh, sweet.
And
This
they
was the
have-
first thing I saw.
They have
We
really
opened
nice
the package.
clothes. Like I didn't realize how new some of their clothes, because I have a bunch of clothing scraps of these dolls, and I thought that they were older. And his outfit looks really well made. It's like not all screen printed on, which is what you would see now.
I mean, if I saw him in Walmart, I would walk the other way. He's a little scary.
He doesn't really look like the guy. I mean, I know nothing about One Direction, but
There was also one of the Star Trek action figure guys was also still boxed, but I deboxed him because he's just going to work.
yeah.
He's getting
I
drafted
love
to play
Star
with the
Trek, but
children.
they were at a weird size where they weren't compatible with like Barbies or like our Dawn dolls.
Yeah, they were like too big for one and not big enough for the other. And I never watched Star Trek. Well,
I did.
The only person I cared about on Star Trek, and I don't even think it was the same one you liked.
No, that was Next Generation.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think was
watched the
LeVar
original.
Burton, who was on PBS's Reading Rainbow, was also on Star Trek, one of the Star Treks, and I was like, that's the guy from Reading Rainbow, because even back then I was a huge geek.
Yeah, no, I watched the original Star Trek with Dad. I watched all the Planet of the Apes movies with Dad. I watched
I was like, that's not my scene.
all of those like cheesy, like made-for-TV sci-fi channel movies with Dad.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I'd still rather watch Reading Rainbow.
And then there are some Barbie dolls. So we have a Strollin' Fun Kelly in Easter egg hunt, Kelly's outfit. Not the shoes. She is so cute. It's funny because this was a really popular line, and I have like various scraps of Barbie and Kelly's clothes, but I still only have one Barbie and one Kelly until now because Dad bought us those boxed off of eBay for Christmas 2003. And this Kelly is in immaculate condition.
I wonder if we have a whole spare outfit for her
We
in
do.
storage.
I know Laurel, I think, is wearing...
Oh.
Tiny Steps Kelly Laurel is wearing... She's wearing it, but I think I have multiples of those.
Yeah. I mean, worst case scenario, we undress your Strolling Kelly, your Tiny Steps Kelly. Oh, this is Ken from the Barbie movie.
He's naked. They repackaged the same doll, even with all the same articulation, like across the board. Perfect day, Ken. And then we have Farmer Barbie. We got her chicken. It's in the bag. She's fantastic. I thought she might be from the Sweet Orchard line, but we have like a barn. I work on a farm, so, and she's dressed practically, dare I say. She's not, wearing heels or extra accoutrements. It is kind of sad that like they literally screen printed the pockets, the buttons, the collar, like.
I love the flannel though.
But it's still
This is how you would dress to go on farm work boots, except you wouldn't go with the sleeveless look.
No, I don't like wearing sleeveless things.
But yeah, pants, shirt, shoes.
Yeah, if you're cleaning out the chicken play area.
Yeah, you're not going to be dressed all cutesy.
You don't want to be wearing shoes you care about because it turns sloppy out there if it rains.
Very sloppy.
And then
this might be my favorite. Yeah, this is one of the BMR Kens, and he's in the same wave as the other one she sent us, right? I actually very recently, saw pictures of him right around the same time that I was looking in our Mattel fashion book. We were on like one of those like face websites together, and I saw him and I'm like, whoa. He's got makeup and green hair.
That's what they call the tango face.
And, oh yeah, that's a different mold. He's got like an interesting set to like his eyes and his ears and like...
I like how his jacket has a print on the lining.
Oh yeah, the BMR dolls are really detailed. Like these overalls are thick and the shirt is clearly separate. And what is with his necklace though? Like that's some serious sling.
Is he a drag queen or does he just like wearing makeup?
I don't know, but like...
It's pretty cool. Do you remember like hearing how controversial Earring Magic Ken was?
And then comparatively, I mean, he's wearing makeup and his hair's green.
In Mr. Brown's history class, and he was like one of those old, really conservative men, and he randomly brought up, and this was in the early 2000s, he randomly, like 2005, he brought up that there was a Ken that had an earring and how scandalous that was. Heaven forbid Ken wears an earring.
I guess for our high school history teacher, that would have been scandalous.
Yeah.
Very scandalous.
Ken had an earring.
It's funny. I actually had, on a semi-related side note, I actually had a college teacher, one of my favorite college teachers, who thought the Bratz dolls were scandalous and sexist because their feet popped off. And then I told her, but the boy dolls' feet come off too for that line. And she had like no response to that.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, she has to be so fashionable that her feet come off to fit in certain pants. And I'm like, yeah, but the boy dolls' feet come off.
Yeah, his proportions are the same, and she saw his abs. That's sexist. I remember naked Bratz boys used to like make me mega uncomfortable because of how like fake their muscle. Like I mean, and I'm not saying Ken looked real.
Yeah, I mean he's
got more of a softer physique, but like Kevin.
Yeah.
It literally looks like a circle.
Yes.
With like lines across.
Yes. Love it.
These were the beautiful dollies. Honestly, none of them are like gonna be that involved to clean. So,
but we just thought they were such A, they were a really, really thoughtful gift, and B, they're a really interesting motley assortment of like Barbie people and army men, and some of the Barbies are older and some of the Barbies are newer. So, there's such an interesting assortment that we thought they'd be fun to film.
Yeah, I'll show you some clips of what they look like after. But honestly, like, there's not really... They're gonna be easy to clean.
I mean, her hair still has, like, some factory gel. She's a little bit,
but, like,
wavy,
Chrissy
but nothing.
is the oldest, and her hair doesn't even look bad.
No.
None of these are even take before and after pictures.
No, they're, like, really nice.
Because they're all really nice. And, like, I mean, but Ken needs, like, an outfit, for instance, and he needs to come out of the box. And here's a quick overview of what they look like, all squeaky clean. We also cleaned all the furniture and whatnot, but that's put away. BMR Ken doesn't look all that different because he was nice already, but I did wash him. We dressed Ken in this lovely fashion pack. Barbie's hair looks much better. All of the army dudes are also scrubbed clean. They had a lot of scuffs on them, and their clothes were washed. They smell much better. And then I dressed them in clothes that were like brand appropriate, except I don't have any G.I. Joe clothes, so he's wearing this Ultimate Soldier outfit that we got on one of them. It's really nice quality, but they look better. And then we have Elkie. She had to go in the washing machine to have her cloth body washed. But then I boil washed her hair separate. We had an outfit for Stroll and Fun Kelly. I actually had a whole spare on one of my Tiny Steps Kelly. This was the one that Kelly was wearing because it has the rose, so she just wore the one that was in storage that does not have the rose. I opened up Harry, and I did wash him because he had been boxed for so long. Not his outfit, but the doll himself. And then all of the army Barbies are nice and clean outfits, hair. I didn't totally dunk them because they have Connect-Lawn. I did have to dunk her a bit more. You can see it's a little straighter because her hair was very poofy. And we named this doll Savannah because of Hannah, who was our Christmas gift in 2018. You can see her jacket. And then the lovely Chrissy, who is so very impressive with her gorgeous hair. I do have to sew a snapback on her outfit.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So we hope you enjoyed this haul. There will be pictures of all of these dolls and things on my Flickr.